different from, training and then, doing stuff outside the ring. But it's different from you consistently treating your body like a temple. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. So going down this weekend, we got up here Errol Spence making his return after 3 years of being out of the ring, facing Tim Tszyu in a fight where it seems to be really hyped. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to make my full prediction here, give some key things of what I see happening in this fight, and like to give you all my prediction. Before we get any further into the video, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button, turn on notifications when you guys want to see when I upload. Comment down below, who do you guys think wins between Errol Spence and Tim Tszyu by knockout or decision? Let me know in the comments. And now let's get into the video. So as y'all may know, like I just said, it's been about 3 years since Errol Spence has fought in the ring, and the last time out was obviously against Terence Crawford, where he got knocked out. I think it was in the 7th round, and yeah, but before that loss to Terence Crawford, the last time he won a fight was back in 2022 when he knocked out your Denis in the 10th round. And mind you, that was also the last time he had a full training camp, because obviously, he didn't take the fight with Terence Crawford on short notice. He said it himself. He didn't really spar like that coming into the fight with Terence Crawford. And after seeing that loss and knowing that he didn't return after that, I was starting to lose hope that Errol Spence would actually come back and fight ever again. And I think like last year, towards mid-September, they were in talks about Tim Tszyu fighting Errol Spence. I thought it wasn't gonna happen. I just personally thought that Errol Spence wasn't gonna come back. And now we got that fight. I think it's a huge fight, a pretty huge fight. But yeah, it's just the most concerning thing I have here coming into this fight, that Tim Tszyu has been pretty active as of recently. I think he fought 3 times in 1 year. Last year, knocking out Joey Spencer, getting finished, getting the corner stop. Well, him not wanting to continue against Fundora. And, later, like, towards December, fighting Anthony Velazquez. So, one thing that I will say is I don't think that Tim Tszyu is going to become a world champion at 154. I will say is that I think he has a better chance of becoming a champion at 160 if he beats Errol Spence. Mainly if he depending on who he fights. Because the champions are Janabik, which I still think he's suspended for that performance drug thing that he had when he was supposed to fight Erislandy Lara. We got Carlos Adames. And I think out of all of those 3, well, besides Janabik, we're going to include Janabik out of the picture. So out of all those 2, between Carlos Adames and Erislandy Lara, I think he has a better chance of beating Erislandy Lara. So I think the winner of this fight should fight Erislandy Lara. But Tim Tszyu, a few things I think that Tim Tszyu needs to do, because he looked pretty solid last time out, where he fought back in April. He didn't look phenomenal. He didn't look great. He looked pretty good. He looked pretty decent. He did pretty decent. And after what I saw from him fighting Fundora, I thought after that fight with Fundora, the second one, I thought that Tim Tszyu was just going to be done. I thought he was never going to be the same after that. But he seems to have bounced back from 2 pretty decent wins between 2 guys who were undefeated at the time. Anthony Velazquez, who was 14-1. That guy he fought most recently, who was 18-0 with 1 draw. So he's just been facing I wouldn't call them bums, but like solid opponents. And against Errol Spence, where listen, I know some of you guys are going with Errol Spence here, but I don't necessarily think that Errol Spence is gonna have a lot of success coming into this fight. But who knows, man, because it all depends on what he's actually been doing, because, it's different from, training and then, doing stuff outside the ring. But it's different from you consistently treating your body like a temple. The reason why Manny Pacquiao managed to come back and fight Mario Barrios, guys, was because he was still training. He was treating his body like a temple, eating the right foods to eat. Just consistently training in the gym. And not saying that Errol Spence hasn't been doing the same, but I just don't think he's been consistently treating his body like a temple. Because listen, you can be physically ready for a fight, but that doesn't mean that you're mentally ready for a fight. That's the thing that I don't know if Errol Spence is going to have. Is he going to be fit? Is he going to be mentally ready for this fight? And mind you, the other thing I want to add to that is that this fight was originally supposed to take place at a catch weight, but Errol Spence had said he couldn't make the weight, so they're fighting at 160. So that's another concerning thing. He can't make it the catch weight. I forgot exactly what the catch weight was, but he chose to fight a middleweight. That's just another thing concerning how this is the fight where we need to see how the weigh-ins look and how Errol Spence really looks at the weigh-ins. If Errol Spence looks quite drained coming into this fight, I think that Tim Tszyu is going to get this one done in the bag. So a few things that I think that Tim Tszyu really needs to do coming into this fight is that Tim Tszyu needs to try and use that double jab to close the distance early. I think he would have the better success on the inside coming into this fight. Definitely should move that head a little more. I feel like what went wrong with him in that second Fundora fight, well, first off, is that Fundora is just very tall and it's hard to get close. But I remember before, him not wanting to continue in that seventh round, he was winning majority of that seventh round. He did pretty good. What happened was, it was towards the end, he got too careless and got carried away and just started getting bombed with combinations against Fundora, and then the fight stopped. That's the thing that he needs to be concerned, because if he's having a lot of success coming into this fight with Errol Spence, I think he needs to be very aware of what he does, of getting too cocky in this fight. And Errol Spence, I feel for Errol Spence, I think he needs to try and keep this fight. I think he has a better success in this fight on the outside. I think he needs to also to match that pressure and start landing a bunch of clean shots on him, because that's how he struggled a lot in that second fight with Fundora. Fundora was landing the cleaner shots. He was using a very good fight IQ and using that distance very well. So that's what Errol Spence needs to do coming into this fight. And I know some of you guys are actually going to go with Errol Spence and think Errol Spence is going to win. Cool, I'm not mad. Cool, listen, I'm not going to really argue about that, guys. But I don't think this fight is. I don't think nobody's getting knocked out in this fight. Somebody could get dropped, but I think this fight goes the distance. And my prediction here, guys, I'm going to go with Tim Tszyu on this one. I just think that Tim Tszyu is the more active fighter. He hasn't fought the top. His last two fights, he hasn't fought the top. But previously, he's just been losing the top to Fundora and that Bakram guy where he got knocked out in 3 rounds. I just think that he's going to, listen, this may sound very weird. I think he's going to either 12-0 Errol Spence or get a 11-1 decision, guys. I don't think this fight's going to be that close. I think there's going to be some rounds throughout this fight where Errol Spence is going to be slightly competitive, but I don't think Errol Spence is going to do much to, win this fight. I think that's going to be a pretty convincing Tim Tszyu winning a pretty competitive 12-0 match. If you guys do disagree with that, let me know in the comments down below. I also think that another thing, I think Errol Spence should be heavily on those body shots to try and slow down Tim Tszyu in this fight. But that's going to be the end of the video, you guys. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Turn on notifications when you guys want to see when I upload. Thank y'all for 128 subscribers. I appreciate all y'all subscribing. And I'll see y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace.